So I just finished watching The Legend of Korra: A Voice in the Night. This is a really, really good episode and a lot happens in it. Um, First we see Korra having a nightmare about Amon taking away her bending. So obviously she's really, really scared, and we see throughout the episode that she's really, really scared. And why wouldn't she be? Because in the last episode we saw that Amon can take away anybody's bending permanently. And after she wakes up, her polar bear dog Naga comforts her. And then after it cuts away from Korra, we see Tenzin and the council people. And there's representatives from every single nation. But there's two for the water tribe, the northern water tribe and the southern water tribe. And the guy from the northern water tribe, his name is Tarlok, and he proposes a plan to rid the city of the Equalists and Amon. And Tenzin does not like the plan, but everybody else does, so it gets approved. And then when Tenzin and his family and Korra are all having dinner, Tarlok walks in and asks Korra to join the task force that he's assigned to rid the city of Equalists. And she doesn't go for it. And everybody's really surprised, and I was really surprised too. But it's obvious that she's not gonna take the job because she's really, really scared, you know? And so he starts trying to bait her into joining his task force. He even buys her a car. I thought that was a little suspicious because later in the episode, when he throws a party for Korra, Hiroshima Sato is his name, I think. The inventor of the Sato mobile is at the party that he throws for Korra. I don't know if that's a connection or anything. I just saw that was there. And also, Mako gets ran over on a moped. A girl hits him on a moped. I can't remember her name, but she ends up being the daughter of Sato. And Hiroshima Sato ends up sponsoring the Fire Ferrets, and so that fixes their problem in the 30,000 yuans they need to compete in the championship. And so a lot of stuff happens, and eventually Tarlok gets Korra to join his task force, and we see them invading a secret underground chi blockers place where they train people to chi block. And so eventually Korra calls out Amon and says, "I want to fight you," which I think is really stupid because I don't think she would win. And so she challenges him on Aang Memorial Island at 12 o'clock. And she goes there and she waits and waits and waits, and he never arrives. And so she just assumes that he's not going to show up. So as she's walking away, she gets ambushed by chi blockers, and she basically gets tied up, and we see Amon coming in, and we see him reaching out his hand, and we think that he's going to take away her bending, but he doesn't. He says, if I take away your bending, you're only going to become a martyr, and everybody would rise up against me, and it would make it harder for me to have people join my side. So that's pretty smart on his part. And then he knocks her out, and this is a really, really good part, because when he knocks her out, she has a vision, and we see Sokka, and we see him, and he kind of gets a worried look on his face. If you freeze frame and you kind of, if you freeze frame it and you go slow motion, you can kind of see he gets a concerned look on his face. I don't know why that is. And then after we see Sokka, we see Toph, and she's in a police uniform. I have to say, she has a mean case of man face when we see her. She looks like a man with Toph hair. And then after we see Toph, we see Aang. And if you freeze when they see Aang, you can see it's a courtroom. And behind Aang, you can see the Earth King and what I assume to be his wife. And then after we see Aang, we see this guy, and we see this guy, and something I forgot to mention earlier is that when Tenzin was with the councilman, Tarlok mentioned 42 years earlier how Aang took out this one guy. I can't remember his name, but he took him out. And so I'm assuming that's who that is. And then after we see that guy, we go back to Aang. And if you freeze frame at that point, they're outside. You can tell they're outside. They're not in the courtroom anymore. And Aang seems to be attacking him. I don't know why. Another thing I wanted to point out was what was so important that happened 42 years earlier that Sokka had to be there. Because from what I know, he didn't live in Republic City. So I'm just wondering if something really, really big happened, because why would he be there? And why did he have that concerned look on his face? I don't know. So after she wakes up, Tenzin comes running after her, and she thinks it's Aang. I don't know if that has any significance, but after Tenzin comforts her, she starts crying and admits that she's really, really scared. And then the episode ends. I have to say, this is a really, really good episode. I'm really excited to see where they go from here. Yeah, it was a really good episode. I loved it. Bye.